Hello everyone, Loremaster of Sotek here, and we are back in the saddle. So for this morning, we're going to be continuing our hour-long episodes of the Nakai campaign. And yeah, making our way through that. So last time we left off, I know it's been a few days. If you caught the live stream, you'll have been all caught up on. There's just a lot of junk going on. But we left off having cornered Wolfheart and all of these other problem causers in this little pocket here because we wanted to wipe out the northern group and kind of work our way back down through Lustria. So without further ado, let's get started. Yeah, no, you don't get friends. I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing okay. Nothing super bad happened or anything. I just, well, I don't know. There's just kind of a struggle I have. Remaining super consistent, I guess, would be the nicest way to put it. I don't know if it's like a depression thing or just I've always been that way, or like, I don't know, maybe I don't have enough of a certain vitamin in my diet or something, I don't know. But sometimes I just kind of have to, take a break for a little bit, you know? Just take like a few days or however long it was. And it's not like I actively plan it out and think like, oh, okay, I'll just, you know, stop from this time to this time and then I'll pick it back up from this time to this time. It just kind of happens. And it's kind of it's a pretty bad habit, to be frank, and it's something I really need to, it's something I kind of need to figure out how to stop doing. It's definitely, I think it's ultimately probably the biggest thing that's standing between me and this channel kind of hitting like a true awesome level of quality, I guess, would be the way to put it. You know, it's hard to put out episodes on a daily basis or make super crazy long, intense lore videos when you struggle to just kind of get up and do the thing that you want to do once a day, you know, minimum. But anyway, I don't want to get all like, I don't want to get all serious, and I'm going to apologize now. For occasional pauses, because unfortunately my allergies are just like crazy today. I don't know what's going on. There must be something in the air down here in Texas, because it is genuinely difficult not to be constantly sneezing right now. And like I noticed it with everybody I was talking to today. Like I went out with a friend of mine for lunch and he was really struggling not to be sneezing the entire time. Or I had a friend who, like my old man, my father, because the rest of my family is off doing other stuff, or really it's my sister recently moved out to go pursue her new career, which is awesome. But so I kind of lurk in the upstairs of the family home while my folks do other stuff. But one of my folks is my mother is off on a trip, so it's just me and my old man for a bit. And I noticed he was coughing really bad and all that other stuff because allergies, which sucks. Like, allergies are just the worst. And they're so stupid, too. Like, if I actively think about allergies, I'll start getting, like, borderline angry because they're such a stupid feature of humanity, to be frank. Alright, let's see if we can lock these knights down so that my salamanders can tear them up. That would be ideal. We'll just get a nice rear charge in with these feral cold ones. And have our salamanders and chameleon skinks just rip them apart. Let's move our chameleon skinks back a little bit. Bring these chameleon skinks in. Stop running from me, jerks. Okay, we got their attention now. Here it comes. Those are some very dead knights. But, I got distracted. Anyway, things have been going really well lately. I mean, obviously the new DLC has done really well for the channel. You know, live stream stuff and a couple new videos and things. And, I've been working on Queek. It's not... Queek is not to the level I want yet, and there are some, for the way I like to do things, there are some critical components still missing, that I hope to have sorted out in the near future. Man, this AI is just attacking from all sorts of bizarre angles. Alright, you guys have the clear. Get going. Alright, and we've already located Wolfheart, so this will be nice and easy. When blasted, deal with all this nonsense. Chameleon Skinks, I want you on these knights. Where are they going? They're going after the salamanders. Make the salamanders invincible! A little faster. A little faster. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Invincible salamanders. He's tearing up Wolfheart. Good, good, good. That chain lightning ought to deal with all that nonsense. Looks like he'll be shattering any moment now. After them! Cut them all down. Kill him. Kill him. But yeah, other than that, I keep getting distracted because of this fight, so I apologize. That's another thing I need to work on, is finishing my sentences. Or like finishing a thought before I let myself get distracted. But in any event, long story short, things are good. I picked up Breath of the Wild for the first time, and that has been mind-bogglingly good. So I did lose a good part of the last week or so playing that. Because, you know, it was like, I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan. Like, it's easily my favorite Nintendo series, and I am quite fond of Nintendo products. Or games, I should say. It sounds a little less, robot. But, I really enjoy Nintendo IPs, and, Zelda, easily my favorite among them. And for some reason, I just hadn't gotten around to playing it. I don't know why, I just hadn't. So I finally had some free time, and I managed to just kind of pick up a copy without really thinking about it, just casually. And it was like, oh, so this is like the best video game ever made. Like, or at least certainly up there. It blew my mind pretty hard, to be honest. So that was a fun whole thing of discovery that I had a really good time with. Can I aim this? Nope, too early. That's okay though. Other than that, some things coming up that I'm really excited for is I did pick up some new books. Like I got Ghoul Slayer for Gotrek, the Gotrek Garrison series, which I'm really excited about. I've been really enjoying all the Gotrek and Felix coverage over the last week or so. And I picked up the... Oh god, that 10% missile resistance is so nice. I picked up, like, the White Dwarf, so we did some giveaways. We did that on the live stream. Let's do Demon Crusher. And then let's do... I really don't like being unbreakable with Nakai, to be honest. Let's do Obedience Brings Victory. Because having really good leadership structure on characters is pretty important. We'll pick up another point in Blademaster. And then let's pursue his army. That way we can wipe it out. So I don't have to worry about it. Oh, we unlocked the Legion of Chakwa. That's nice. Alright, let's put 2 points in... Do I want armor or melee attack? Let's do melee attack. Really guarantee that we hit people. Does the Monument of Moon have walls? It does, so we want to lure them out. Actually, or I could just trap them inside and kill them. And that works. Fencer's Blade. That is super good on Nakai. Melee attack, melee defense. And we're gonna fall back, and the reason we're gonna fall back is so I can kill this guy. Awesome. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna retreat to our own territory, and we're going to just sit and heal for a minute. Oh, and we're gonna get the floating gardens. Beautiful. Get that sweet, sweet upkeep reduction. Alright, Miasma of Despair. This is one of the new abilities. It's only available to the Kroak characters. Super fantastic ability. Leadership, speed reduction, and vigor reduction. That is so powerful. And then melee defense. Which melee defense on Nakai is probably the most important stat. Like, if you could just pick a random stat to improve, I think that's the best one. Let's get Winds of Magic Reserve increase. And then let's grab... let's get Thick-Skinned. And then... I don't have money to do anything else right now, so... Do I have a second army? It's been a little bit. Oh, you know what? It'd be easier to look in the Lords and Heroes category. No, I don't. I do have a Skink Chief, and I bet he's heading off to Albion. Yep. So that we can do that quest battle. Other stuff coming up that I'm nervous about, but also excited for, is, for instance, the... so there's a tournament being hosted at the Citadel, which is my... kind of like my local Games Workshop. It's a little bit fancier than a Games Workshop. It's the only one of its kind, but it's like the super fancy, awesome Games Workshop here in the States. And I go there every once in a while to pick up, you know, new paint or new models or books or whatever. And I found out they have a tournament coming up on Saturday. And it's like a really low point tournament for Age of Sigmar that they were like, hey, you should come play. And I was like, oh, okay. So I think I'm gonna go do that. And I'm kind of nervous about it. But, you know, we'll have fun with it. There's one of the heroes I'm looking for, Roderick. I need him to come ashore so I can smash his face in. I kind of want to go deal with Pahawks real quick and then swing back over here. But I'm worried that if I go after Pahawks, they'll come down here. Decisions. Where are we at on our quests? Move a character to Chakwa and Albion. Okay. I do want to get Temple Guard, but those take a while to recruit. Now I don't want to be sitting here with a bunch of empty slots in my army. I feel like I need to kind of defeat these clowns first. So, you know what we're going to do? Let's go into ambush stance. What's our ambush percent chance here? 40%. That's pretty low. What about if I go into the jungle? 80%. Okay. So let's head into the jungle here. And we're going to pop ambush stance and see if we can lure one of these armies down to us and catch them out. Because if we could pull that off, that would be swell. But anyway, yeah, so it's a 1,000 point Age of Sigmar tournament. If I end up making it, so I end up getting my army where I'm happy with it as far as like the way it looks and stuff, and I make it over there, then, oh baby, Okay, so this is one of the heroes we're hunting, Roderick Languel, so I'm actually going to fight this one, even though it's a slam dunk. I'm going to fight it anyway, because... Oh, and we get the garrison? Oh yeah, these guys are boned. I'm going to fight it manually, though, because I want to enjoy killing this pathetic hero. But yeah, 1,000 points. I'm going to be taking my Night Haunts. I am excited about it. Hopefully I can make it. I'm also kind of nervous about it, too. I haven't played tabletop in person in such a long time that it brings me physical pain to think about it. Alright, so even though my allies are going to storm on and it's going to take them a hot minute to get over here, I don't want to really... I don't think I want to delay. I think I want to just rip into these guys. In true Kroak fashion. We're just going to spread our boys out. We'll have Chameleon Skinks followed up by the Salamanders to deal with the Outriders. Saurus we will use to swarm the... Actually, we'll send the Skink cohorts to swarm the War Machines. And we'll have the Saurus back us up against the Heavy Infantry. You know what? No, let's change that. Let's put regular Saurus to swarm the War Machines. Red-crested Skinks we'll use to go after the missile units. And then these lads will help us against the anti-large infantry. So I'm just going to put the Kroak into one big fat command group. You're going to help me hunt down the characters. You're just going to do magic. Run around, wiggle the stick. You guys are going to be anti-range cav, anti-war machine, anti-ranged infantry, anti-halberds. Nakai is going to go after Roderick. Character is going to go after the general. Skink Priest is going to help us with the infantry. Miasma of Despair! And we missed. Well, actually, we kind of hit him, but not the way I intended. Slow down this. Do some lovely debuffs. Demonic Convergence on Nakai, so he can just curb stomp this fool. And then I'll just look for where I'm kind of needed. Any of my units taking a lot of damage? This Kroak unit. Become invincible. Kroak, come on, get in there. Tic-tac-toe. Where is he? Is he dead? Oh no, he's running away. After him, Nakai. Actually, you know what? We'll send the cat after him. You just keep beating people to death. Go! Go! Fat raptor. After him. Catch the Bretonnian. Great swords. Miasma of Despair! Do not let him escape. It is critical to me that this man dies. Roderick Languel escaped Zlanhapek once, but he won't escape the wrath of the Lizardmen again. And down he goes. We'll just end it there. It's fine. Oh, goodness. We're doing pretty well in this campaign, though. I mean, I've got an army that I think can win the rest of the campaign. The only way I could see us running into issues is maybe for one of the quest battles. Because the Golden Tributes quest battle can be a little goofy. Alright, so we defeated him. Ooh, that's nice. I can catch that army out. And if I can kill that army, then we're in a really good spot. Nothing like a good ambush. Yes, I will sacrifice the humans of the new colonies for magic. Alright, we defeated Roderick Languel. A cohort of foolish warmbloods once discovered the city of Mist and dared enter its gates. All but one being unceremoniously slaughtered by its mighty guardians. The one survivor's knowledge of Zlontopek makes him a grave threat that must be destroyed. Done. Hey, Lord Kroak time. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alright, do I have the Rite of Awakening available? I do. Let's go ahead and perform that to start waking up Lord Kroak. I will... I'll take a Life Priest. That's probably my favorite one. Back when I played, back when Warhammer Fantasy was, like, normally around, I played Lizardmen, as you might guess, in tabletop, and my Lizardman army was to be feared back in the day. Alright, we're gonna swing around this way, so I can reinforce the garrison. And cut this nerd off. But I almost always ran a Life Slon. The Life Slon was stupid good in tabletop. Because the way you would run him is, you know, characters join units back then, and Slon in particular were they were bunker characters. You know, you'd put them in a unit, and basically the Slon was invincible so long as he was in that unit and nobody was able to, like, kill off all of his guardians. So you put him in a unit of Temple Guard. And a lot of the time I would take a Slon and, like, deck him out so he was, like, ridiculously strong and amazing. And then he would do stuff, and then I would get, basically I could just nuke people with magic from the safety of the unit, even though most of the time I would use my magic to protect the unit, as opposed to nuking the enemy, but, you know, whatever worked. Alright, so don't have enough population. Oh, we don't have enough money or population for various things. Can I recruit a hero of any kind? Yes, I can get a Skink Chief or a Saurus Scarvet. Give me a Skink Chief. Let's get a pompous one. And we're going to send him south to go trigger all of the places that I need to activate. Where is Chodel? I don't remember off the top. I always... I think this one's the closest. There it is. Oh, Chakwa's the closest, actually. Okay, so go to Chakwa first. And then we'll go from there. We'll go from there. I do miss playing Warhammer Fantasy, though. Like, you know, it's not like a... It's been so long that it's gotten to the point that I don't get salty or anything thinking about it anymore. I just kind of miss it, you know? I miss being able to just pack up my Lizardman and take him out to go play a game somewhere. But unfortunately, those days do seem to be gone. It's okay, though. That's not good. We're losing settlements. We're leaking! Okay, so let's finish. These guys are pretty wounded. I can't! God, it's a reasonably scary army. You know what? I think what we're gonna do, though, is I think we're gonna come out to about here. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and shed the Saurus and get Temple Guard. I think we're gonna go ahead and enact that strategy. Because if I can actually get those 4 units of Temple Guard out, then this army will be basically unbeatable. I mean, there will be things that will probably give me pause, but, or, you know, we could even theoretically get overwhelmed through sheer numbers, but outside of that, I don't think anyone will be able to mess with us. Especially not the hunters. What's up, dude? Defensive Alliance? You got it, Mazda Mundi. I will be your bro. For oldest and mightiest Slán. Well, of the living Slán, anyway. Oh, good. Burnoff's brigands are dead. That's nice. I didn't want to have to deal with them. So that works for me. Sounds like our skink priest leveled up. Yep. So let's give him... do I want to bother with earthing? I mean, I don't think we're going to be overcasting that anytime soon. So let's go ahead and get a cheaper chain lightning. We got one more turn till that's done. So yeah, just end our turn. We got a skink chief very, very close to Albion. Nearly there. We're passing by the Shrine of Cain now, and this guy is hopefully going to be at Chakwa in about 2 or 3 turns. Once I get the Temple Guard, we'll lay siege to the Monument of the Moon, and we should be able to... the siege equipment will need to lay siege to it. We'll probably be able to cut through it in about somewhere between 3 to 4 turns. And once the Monument of the Moon's fallen, all that remains is Pahawks, which I think will actually be very easy because the garrison's probably not that great. New World colonies? Yeah, we will go to war with the New World colonies. That's a no-brainer for us. Alright, awesome. Oh, and we finished more stuff. Lower winds of magic, but stronger weapon strength? Yeah, I'll take that. Especially because we're sacrificing someone for extra magic anyway. That works out really, really well for those couple turns. Oh, great! We finished this. Okay, so now we can start to get the cool stuff. Oh, I really want to get that. It costs so much. Oof, this campaign kind of needs an update because that costs a lot. Alright, let's... First thing we're going to do is I want to do the greater sequence. You know what? Let's do the sequence of creation first, because I'm gonna need that to get Lord Kroak, because I'm gonna want him in a different army from Nakai. We're nearly there. Albion is 3 turns away. I want it. And then you are gonna keep hauling butt down south. And we... Oh, I can get a new building. Don't really need that yet. Those are too expensive. Okay, these are all too expensive. Never mind then. Alright, so let's slam into the Monument of the Moon. I am here to take your shit. And we want 1, 2, 3... Yeah, we want 3 siege towers. And since we know we're going into a siege, we're going to tell this guy to get off of his cold one. Because that is going to make him a much more reliable fighter. You know, we are really struggling to get our hands on some items. Still haven't found any armor. And I have 3 gleaming pennants. Yay, I guess. Alright. As far as what stuff is on the horizon video-wise, I'm thinking... I've done all the research and like gotten the full stories together for all of Wolfheart's hunters, and I think there's enough on each of them that I can make a really fun, thematic kind of video for each one of them individually. So I think I want to do that instead of like one big video that just has all 4 of them. I think I want to break them down into separate videos. And then mount the expedition. I don't need to do that. And then after that, Rite of Allegiance, that costs too much shit. Rite of Mastery. Rite of Mastery we'll probably use next turn. Oh, so close to my Carnosaur. Foe Seeker. Tell this Skink Chief to run for his life. Run away. We're not quite to the border yet. Get to the border. And we need at least one more turn. Mission successful. Nearly there. I do need to pay attention down here because it's totally possible that some army could come sweeping in from the side and try and stop me. Military alliance? Sure. I will accept a military alliance with Hexawaddle. I'm a little worried about those New World colonies. Just have to keep an eye on them. Hold to your vision, or hold to my vision. I want that research. Want that research rate. Alright, so I need one more tower before I'm really feeling ready. So we'll pop the right next turn. But we should be reaching Albion this turn. Yep, we have made it to Albion. Thank the Lord. Alright. So, I read that in an earlier episode, so now we got this, which we'll read when we actually do the quest. But we can disband this guy. His only goal in life was just to make it over there. And this works out really, really well, because at the same time, this guy is going to make it to Chakwa. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And that's for... We already read over that. So now we've got the Golden Tributes one as well. And then he's going to keep going to Chodal. Alright, so we need one more turn. And this next turn, we will be able to hit the Kroak score right to give us all of the armor and damage buffs. And then we will swarm over the Monument of the Moon like there's no tomorrow. And do our best to absolutely curb stomp it. And we weren't interrupted. That's another big plus. Boom, there we go. Recruit a Lord. We'll do that in just a little bit. Alright, so let's do first this. Rite of Mastery. Get those defense and armor, or armor and weapon strength buffs. And for the leadership buff, let's put one on you. One on you to just make you guys hold steady. Now I'm going to tear some stuff limb from limb. And I don't know when it's coming out, but I know a lot of people have been kind of keeping a tab on there. I was going to make a video called The Problem in the Warlock, which I was like, oh, that's a clever name, because I was going to talk a lot about how I didn't really like how CA implemented the Lizardman updates. With 10 and 1, and then this DLC came out, and like Creative Assembly is still, at least in my opinion, Creative Assembly is really struggling with how to implement Lizardman. It seems like it is just the hardest damn thing in the world for them, which I don't really understand. And you know what? I have no issue kind of going into it here, for you all that are, you know, just watching these episodic series and stuff. So, yeah, I'll talk about it here in a second once we get through with deployment, just for the sake of conversation. You know what? Let's split up our Kroak scores into 2 groups to hit both gates. That way we're not just getting, like, that way we're not just going to get massacred at one of the gates. It's better to force the defenders to spread out. The Chameleon Skinks go for there. Salamanders can come with us. Nakai will go through here. Both other foot characters, I want y'all to go this way. So, one of the things that I've been focusing on a lot with my issues with the Lizardman DLC are that they feel not done. I would say is like my biggest problem. I'm not going to narrate this battle too much because this is going to be a very straightforward, just run up the walls and kill everyone. It feels super not done, in my opinion. For instance, what my biggest, like, when I was going to make the problem in the Warlock video, most of my focus for that video was going to be, oh, well, if you compare the Skaven side of the DLC, being Ikit Claw, against the, Salamanders are so bad at shooting at walls. They use arced fire, but they arc it just bad enough. That's why you gotta, if you aim for the back, they arc it a lot better. So now they're actually hitting people. It's goofy. But one of the things they definitely struggled with, that I noticed, was that, like, the Ikit Claw versus Tenhuan just felt super rushed. It wasn't that the DLC was poorly implemented or anything like that. It just felt like they finished the Skaven side of it and did not finish the Lizardman side of it. And the reason I say that is for a couple of reasons. The big ones that come to mind very easily are things like, oh, so if I'm playing as Tenhuan, then my, like, super cool upgrade situation is that I'm supposed to be unlocking the plaque of Sotek. And by unlocking the plaque of Sotek, I'm supposed to be getting, like, my crazy cool buffs, just like Ikit Claw does for his, for the workshop. Those are supposed to be equal mechanics. Not necessarily identical mechanics, but equal mechanics. But they're not. If you play as the Skaven, then you get a really badass mechanic that's all about, like, oh, okay, you get permanent army-wide upgrades, or faction-wide upgrades that are permanent and make units objectively better than they ever were before that. And it affects all Clan Scryer units. So all the DLC units, which, you know, you're going to be getting since you just got this new DLC, and that's where all this stuff is coming from. Now that you've gotten all this, those units are going to get stronger as you go through Ikit Claw's campaign. And the upgrades are completely unbalanced, crazy fun, and wild. Which is fine. Like, for a single-player campaign, it doesn't really need to be balanced. It just needs to be really fun and interesting. Potentially challenging, but you get the point. And for Ikit Claw, they gave him, like, an automatic battle winner throughout his campaign, which is, of course, the, what do you call it? The nukes. The Doomsday device. I forget what it's called. It's been a while. Death rockets. There we go. The Doom rockets. Death rockets would be Chaos Wars. Doom rockets. So the Doom rockets are literally a like, you win button. You just press it, aim it, and it'll basically one-shot virtually anything in the game. The Lizardmen were supposed to get something similar, but the Lizardmen didn't. But the Lizardmen from the DLC, their equivalent was the Sotek ability. But if you compare the two, the Sotek ability is objectively worse than the Sotek ability is way worse than the Doom Rocket. Because, like, just on so many levels. First of all, the Doom Rocket can be used at any time. Like, you can buy Doom Rockets turn 1, practically, of the campaign. And you can have, I think, up to 5 ready at a time. The only limit is you can only use 1 per battle. Not only can you have a ton of them, but they even get upgrades. So you can have, like, 5 Doom Rockets that, when used, give you casualty replenishment, give you unique resource resource you need to further get upgrades. So you're basically recycling, which is awesome, and just a bunch of really cool stuff, which is great. But then you look at the Lizardman side of it, and it's pretty trash, to be frank. You know, it's like, okay, so on the Lizardman side of things, I get not permanent upgrades that are far more difficult to get because my quote-unquote unique resource that I have to produce is now sacrifices, which is a recycled mechanic in that it's basically the slave mechanic for the Dark Elves, except for it's worse than the slave mechanic. Because even though they implemented the slave mechanic, but for Lizardmen being sacrifices, they either didn't have the time or didn't care enough to implement it so that it actually worked. Because the problem with it is when you use it, it's like, oh, okay, well, it's the slave mechanic, except you can't actually use it for, except for it doesn't give you a number of slaves based on how many people you've beaten, like it does in the Dark Elf campaign. Instead, it gives you a number of slaves just based off nothing. It's literally just an arbitrary, you got 50 slaves, or captives. You get 50 captives for winning this battle. Even though there were 1,000 people fighting, or 100 people fighting, or 2 people fighting, or 1,000,000 people fighting. So it's like super arbitrary, and doesn't reward you for playing smarter, or taking on bigger battles, or anything. And like, I don't understand how that happened. Like, that has been stumping me for... To say that it caused me some consternation is a grotesque understatement. I was legitimately super frustrated with that mechanic because I don't like. I get when they came out and they were like, they basically came out to us and were like, we weren't able to get it to work that way, which normally I wouldn't say anything because it's just like, oh, okay, well, you know, game design is legitimately difficult. Like, it's a hard thing to do. And sometimes things take a bit to get working, and maybe it doesn't work on the first iteration, yada yada. But I don't understand how it's literally the Dark Elf slave mechanic, except for it's a simplified version, and yet it just doesn't work. It's like you literally had the blueprint in your hand. You were recycling a mechanic like they recycled, you know, the Tomb King's mechanic for the dwarves. But you couldn't get it to work. But what frustrates me so much is that's a DLC mechanic, not a free DLC mechanic. So that is something that if you're playing that DLC, you paid for that. You know, like, I can understand if free DLC is kind of lame, or maybe lame's not the best way to describe it, but if it's not like particularly inspired. You know, like, I would say that a lot of people were not super impressed with the dwarf free LC update. You know, like, the vampire free LC update introduced like 5 unique new characters who had completely unique skill trees and yada yada yada, and they were super cool, and, you know, added like a whole new system, and it was great. The Bretonia free LC update was fucking amazing and overhauled a ton of their stuff. And then there kind of was the dwarf update. You know, it was there. it participated. It had a presence on the world, and it was cool. Like, you're able to forge items. It's a cool system, and you get giant slayers, so you got like a new unit. But it wasn't very inspired. You know what I mean? It was just kind of a copy paste from the Tomb Kings, as opposed to the vampires and Bretonians, which felt like genuinely awesome free LC updates. Or even looking at the Empire, like the new Empire free LC, I would say feels very, very much like it needed another little bit in the oven. Like, I feel genuinely okay saying the Empire Free DLC is awesome. It's great. It doesn't feel quite done. It feels like it could have used a little more time to marinate. However, it's free. So, like, that's totally fine. Like, hopefully they can come back to it at a future time. But, you know, whatever. Like, literally, like, that's how I feel about it. I don't mean whatever as in, like, a... it's like a, oh, this was super cool. I see where they were going with it. It's awesome. It maybe needed another month in the oven before it was done. And I hope they have time to come back and, you know, really finish it off and make it awesome. But when I look at the Lizardmen, like Nakai and Tenenhuan, I see a lot of pretty notable problems with their DLCs and their paid content. And that bothers me. Because, you know, that's stuff that was supposed to be objectively done by the release date. And it really feels like CA only got them done in the sense that they are not crazy buggy and they don't cause computers to crash. Like, that's their whole thing. What's the difference between an Aura of Inertia and Miasma of Despair? Is it just a longer effect time? Yeah, okay. That's not bad. That's totally fine. Alright, so we'll go to... Oh my god, he owns all this shit too? Ugh. Why do the humans have to be so annoying and hard to remove? But anyway, because like just off the top of my head, so like not sitting down with my notes, just off the top of my head of things that I think are a little concerning. First, the sacrifice mechanic for Tenenhuan feels like the most basic bitch system in the game. And it feels like they tossed it in, didn't put any thought into it, didn't put any work into it, and it was just crap. Like, that one I'll be pretty harsh on, because I don't understand how that could have happened. The only way I can understand how Tenenhuan's campaign was such trash compared to, you know, it would have been disappointing but understandable if like it was both of them, you know, if it had been like, oh, Ikit Claw and Tenenhuan have kind of bad campaigns, it just wasn't a great DLC, like maybe they were trying some new ideas and it just didn't pan out in a way that was really satisfying, you know? But that's not what happened. Instead, we got like Ikit Claw, who I think is widely considered to be the most fun campaign in the game. I don't think there is a single character that comes close to Ikit Claw as far as just sheer fun. And then they had Tenenhuan, and they were like, alright, we want to make Tenenhuan difficult. Which they did by just making him just bad. Like, not having features. So, like, you have Tenenhuan, so you have the sacrifice mechanic, which is garbage. Then, when looking at, like, the DLC, and then, like, you have a comparison of, like, power levels. So, we look at Ikit Claw, who's got the crazy-ass Doom Rockets. And Doom Rockets, for the Skaven, to put into context how ridiculous they are, you're literally dealing with a insta-kill anything in the game that it hits. Like, the actual explosion from a Doom Rocket will kill pretty much any infantry, cavalry, war machines, and it'll usually do very severe damage to units like characters, monsters, stuff like that. But the cool thing about a Doom Rocket is, if you get lucky and you land a direct hit from a Doom Rocket, it is a guaranteed kill. It will 100% guaranteed kill any model in the game. Kolek Sun Eater, Dread Saurians, doesn't fucking matter. If you get a direct hit with a Doom Rocket, they're dead. So with that in mind, then you look over at the Sotek ability, right? So the summon a god. So the Sotek ability is literally you summon a god on the battlefield, which is bonkers. Sucks. Literally one of the worst army abilities in the game. And it sucks for numerous reasons. One, it takes for fucking ever to unleash it. Like, you have to take it, like, campaign-wise, you cannot get it until the end of your campaign. If you want to have, because it takes your entire campaign to unlock it, then it takes further for you to be able to even afford it, and then when you get it, it's this super it's like 5 turns, or 10 turns, but it's this super temporary army ability you get that just sucks. It objectively sucks. It's a wind spell, which the problem with wind spells is that wind spells cannot be used in sieges most of the time because they cannot be used on walls. A doom rocket can blow up a wall, or you can just aim it at a wall and hopefully it hits, you know, the garrison and you kill everybody. The Sotek giant serpent monster will totally whiff every time because he either can't be casted on a wall, or if he runs into terrain or a building, he'll bounce. So, like, any units that are on a wall are literally invincible. Secondly, the effect looks cool, but it has such a long cast timer. I think it's like a full 5 seconds before the effect starts, and then it takes almost another whole 5 seconds for the wind spell to actually, like, move and deal all of its damage. So it is agonizingly slow. In every possible way that matters. Once you get through that, then there's the thing that the Vortex of Sotek sucks. It doesn't do any damage. It literally is like, I don't want to say, well, I do mean literally in the correct sense, but it sounds juvenile when I say it. It's a spell that you have to jump through so many hoops to be able to use it, and you think, and in a sense you should think, okay, if it takes me this much work to get this thing, it should be like, if I use this, I just win the game. Like, I just win and it's over. But it doesn't. It's this super crappy wind spell that's incredibly narrow, difficult to aim, slow to cast. It doesn't do any damage. The only, oh, that's not good. This is a very high level garrison. When they shoot light beams like that, you know you're in for a bad time. Let's go. We need to get those gates open, like, right now. Oh, that is not bueno. Sorry, I'm gonna be a little bit distracted because I just realized that this is gonna get really ugly. Because those towers they just do a lot of damage. Let's bring you guys around this way. We need to try and distract this shit as much as we can. Ooh, yikes. This is gonna be a little scary. Evacuate the tower. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out. Come on. That tower's about to go down, so it's better for us to get out. Salamanders, let's retreat over this way. Temple Guard, we're going up the old-fashioned way. Let's climb. Ooh, lordy. This just got a lot nastier faster than I was expecting. The gates are open. Let's kick some ass! Ugh, getting through a gate is such a pain in the ass. Kroak scores, move! Come on! Come on, throw ladders. Let's go. Come on, everybody in. Oh, I forgot about my feral cold ones. Whoops. That's okay. You lot with me. Except you. And you. Y'all stay behind. Alright, let's try this again. Curse the Midnight Wind. Come here, little priest. You don't get to fight the big scary things. Knights, whatever. Y'all, take the long route. Alright, this is the last major bastion this far north. Once Pahox falls, then it should be easy sailing, at least until we head further south. Man, the skinks are doing their job. Oh, we're almost out of time. And like I said, that's a preview of the rant. That's me ranting without reading off a script or paying attention to what I'm saying. So, I'd be interested to hear what y'all think about the DLCs. Like, did y'all like the Prophet and the Warlock? Did you like the Hunter and the Beast? Especially Lizardman players. As someone who really loves the Lizardmen and mains them for both campaign and multiplayer, personally, I really have not liked the last two DLCs for Lizardmen. There are parts of them that have been well implemented and are super fun, but there are a lot of parts that seem to have been implemented without a sense for understanding, like, the repercussions of gameplay issues. You know, it's like, from a multiplayer perspective, you have some really cool stuff, but there have been, like, kind of some not tone deaf, that's not the right word, but there have been some curious decisions. You know, it's like Lord Kroak was tossed in the game, which is really cool, but he's basically completely broken against the AI, in that he's super duper powerful, which is great. I totally love him against the AI. You know, you can only have him in one army, so he's not too big of a deal, yada yada. And then in multiplayer, he ended up being, like, way too much for a lot of people, and then they kind of they've basically just been hardcore nerfing him every patch, and they're probably just gonna keep doing it until he's basically unusable. You know, unfortunately, instead of being well, you know what, that's not a very good example. Like, just looking at the DLCs, Kroak's free DLC, so I'm not gonna even worry about that. Looking at, like, a DLC thing, you know, it's like we got Tenenhuan. Tenenhuan was really, really cool, really strong, and really well made. I have issues with, like, his model. The way he holds his tablet makes it look like the artist that designed Tenenhuan's model never looked at any reference piece. Ever. Ever. Like, it's like somebody took a picture of his face and sent him that, and then they never worried about it. They never even, like, tried to reference any material ever again after that. Because, like, he holds his tablet like some kind of freakish alien. Instead of a lizard man. Or a being that has, you know, that obeys the laws of physics and gets arms that are tired. And just a lot of really silly stuff. But, I mean, even if I'm being more serious... Ooh, Sacred Guardian is so good. One of my biggest pet peeves right now is, like, from a design perspective, look at, like, the Razordons. The Razordons are super dumb. Like, super dumb. Like, they're a cool unit. They needed to be in the game. I'm so happy they're in the game. But to me, it feels like Creative Assembly put them in the game and was kind of like, alright, we put them in the game, but I don't really know how to make them work, so good luck, have fun. Because, you know, it's like they don't really do anything. And I've had some ideas on how to fix them. Because, like, you know, if they're supposed to be inspired from their tabletop counterpart, that's technically where CA a lot of the time will be like, oh, okay, well, like, whenever we make rules for a unit, we draw from tabletop. And sometimes they seem to genuinely believe and, like, like, support that. And sometimes I think they're literally just, like, pooping, like, just taking a big fart on our faces and expecting us not to notice. Because, like, sometimes they back that up, and a lot of the time it seems like they could not be telling a bigger falsehood. Because, like, you look at Razordons. Razordons in tabletop had 2 features. That's it. They had, like, 2 gimmicks. And their gimmicks were that, number 1, they had armor-piercing shooting attacks. And number 2, they had an ability that when an enemy unit got too close, they would basically, like, rapid fire. Like, that was their whole deal. So then we come to this DLC where we finally get Razordons, and you look at them and it's like, okay, they have armor piercing, and that's about it. Like, I mean, if you compare them to, salamanders, compare them against salamanders, they have a tiny bit more armor. They have better melee defense, but worse melee attack. They have a higher charge? No, the salamanders have a higher charge bonus. And then they've got... And then they're worse than salamanders in every other way. And then you look at their missile damage, it's like, okay, they have AP, but their range is only like... I'm sorry, what? I think it was like 90? So, like, their range is super duper short, but they're an armor-piercing unit that can't fire while moving. It doesn't have any unique tricks. How are you supposed to use them? Because by the time, like, the only way they would be good is if you somehow managed to get them into a really weird situation where basically they went up against, like, a heavy infantry unit, and the heavy infantry unit was poisoned, and so their movement was really slow, and your Razordons could fire at them before having to almost immediately retreat to keep on firing. Like, there's no... In tabletop, what made Razordons so dangerous is that there was an objectively high risk to charging them in melee combat. Like, they were fairly tenacious. They were fairly tenacious against shooting because they were skirmishers and they had an okay armor save and stuff, and they were hard to hit. So you didn't want to waste resources on them by shooting them. And then you didn't want to charge them in close combat, because if you didn't want to charge them and fight them in close combat, because if you did, then they would just, like, laugh in your face as they would shoot twice as many shots. So they would just, like, obliterate you. Anyway, I'm at severe risk to just ranting at this point, and we are over time. So thank you all so much for watching, guys. Hope you're enjoying getting back into it, and of course are looking forward to all the other stuff that's going to be coming out in the near future. As far as what to worry about for the future, if you're watching the series, I would love to hear your opinions on Lizardman-wise on the last 2 DLCs. And if you're not a Lizardman person or you don't really care about that, like, tell me what you thought about any of the last DLCs. Like, Ikit Claw seemed really, really good. Marcus Wolfhart seems really, really good. I'd love to hear what y'all think about, like, maybe the most recent free OCs, like the Empire update and stuff like that, or whoever your favorite faction is, if they have had an update. Sorry, Wood Elves, Beastmen, Norskins, Warriors, Chaos players, Greenskin players. If you're not in those categories, then I'd love to hear your thoughts. And beyond that, that's going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and quit that before I forget for next time. That's going to be it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of this and whatever other shit I'm going to be putting out in the afternoon. So what I've decided to do is these are going to be morning episodes, and then in the afternoon there'll be something different. So anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. Catch you next time.